So this chapter, we're talking about the information technology context of projects. So in the previous chapters, we talked about the project management in general. Now, we want to look at it from the IT technology perspective. This is the where we talk about the projects. In projects, we cannot run projects in isolation because they are part of the system, okay? And this is the system thinking that we talk about in the course. We see things holistically. The project will deal with other people that they are not in the project. It will deal with other departments in the organization. For example, the HR department, you need to hire some people to work in your project. You need to maybe purchase some of the equipment. You need the purchasing department to be there. You need to buy materials. Again, the purchasing department, you need to deal with them. So your system or your processes in your project need to connect with others in the organization. So the system thinking is looking at things holistically. Okay, now in the system view or the system approach, we have we do system analysis. So we look at problems and we try to solve them. But the main thing here is the system management. The system management is addressing the three most important issues in a system: the business, technology, and organization issues. And these, you have to consider these three things before starting your project, or if you want to do any changes to the project. And before running the project, you need to think of these three things. Even if you run the project and now you need to do some, you completed the project and now you want to do some changes to the project, always go back to these three main issues: the business, technology, and management. Now, what are these? Organization, sorry. What are these? Okay, in the business, I will try to use the pen here on my iPad. That works. Cannot write. Okay, I wanted to annotate these. Okay, so these are the three issues that I mentioned in the previous slide. We call these the three-sphere model. Now, for your course, we will focus only on the organization, okay? But I'll give you a brief description about these. Now, in business, we look at the financial justification of the project. So you need to look at your project before selecting the project or starting the project. You need to look at the financial issues or financial terms of the project. The most two important things are the cost and the revenues. So what is the cost of this project? How much will cost us in terms of the materials, in terms of the human resources, in terms of the equipment, any other running costs? All the costs, you need to consider them. Also, you need to consider the revenues. Okay, what are the rewards that you're going to get from this project? So this is a monetary aspect view of the project. And this is not going to be discussed in your course here in 265. It will be discussed in ITIS265. That's IT management, project management 2. You can take it later in your program. The second is the technology aspect or sphere, as mentioned in the slide here. The technology sphere is related to the technical issues of the project. So technical issues can have something like you think of the platform that you're using, that you're going to implement this system on. Is it, and if we are talking about an application, is it a Android application? Is it iOS, Apple iOS application? So you need to decide for your computer. So is it going to work on Mac or on PC? So you need to decide the platform. Also, you look at the applications required. You look at the hardware that you want, the speed of the network that you are aiming to run this application on, and also what other infrastructure need you want, power supplies or some kind of like a backup UPS or something that's related to the infrastructure and technology. So these are technical issues, and you already covered this in the system analysis and design course, if you take it, or the physical system implementation. So you will just discuss these definitely in one of your courses, whether you took them or you will take them in the coming courses. The third part, which is the organization, the third sphere is the organization. The organization sphere is looking at organizational issues. What are these organizational issues? You are looking at who's going to be affected by this project. If you are developing a system, who's going to be affected from your stakeholders? And remember that we have a range of stakeholders in chapter 1, right? Okay. So also, it's not just knowing who's going to be affected, but also what is the effect, how they're going to be affected, okay? You should also think of these. Also, who's going to develop the system or your product, your end product? So who's my team? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? This is what you are thinking of in this sphere or in this view of the system. Also, who's going to train your team, or who's going to train your users? All these are issues that are related to how the project is organized. Okay, so these are the spheres of the three-sphere model of system management. This is how we start projects and how we deal with projects. We need to have the three lenses on our project. Now, going further to the organization sphere, let us understand organizations. Now, organizations, we also can look at organization from four perspectives. We have the structural frame, the human resource frame, the political frame, and the symbolic frame. The first one, the structural frame, and it is obvious from its name. It's not stopping. So it goes straight to the next slide. What is that? Okay, so the structural frame is actually looking at the organization as a chart. You remember the organizational chart where you have the top management or the CEO on the top, and then the hierarchy goes down level by level. Now, this structural way of looking at the organization will help you to give everyone the responsibilities, and each role in this structure will be accountable for that responsibility. Okay. Also, it will draw the lines for the reporting. So the lower level will report to the upper level, until you reach to the top level. This kind of bureaucracy is good to assign responsibilities and keep people accountable for that, and also to control them. Also, each post on these structures will be also given some responsibilities, well-known or identified responsibilities and tasks, so that they have to work to achieve them. So this structural view is very important to govern and control your project. Okay, and coordination will be properly also done. The second frame. Okay, now started. Okay, so see, this is the structure. The blue line here is the reporting channel. You know, now this star here, they want to report to the CEO. They have to go through their superiors until they go to reach to the top. And these green lines, these are the tasks and responsibilities given to each person in the project. The second is the human resource frame. Now, also, when you start the project, you need to look at it from a human resource perspective. And here, your aim is to reach to a harmony, or you can say a balance between what is the organization needs and what's your people needs. You cannot focus on only what the organization wants and forget your people, your team. Okay, they need to rest, they need some motivation, they need to be rewarded at the end of the project. So you need to have a balance between them. Okay, you have to balance these needs. You have to reach to a win-win situation. Okay, you get what you need, but also your team is satisfied and they are getting what they expect also from the project. The third perspective or frame is the political frame. Now, this frame looks at the organization from how people are behaving, or grouping, let's say. Now, some individuals or even group of people, they are in the organization or in the project, they seek to get some power. Okay, this is the muscle here, right? So if you have power, means that you make the decisions, you have the decision-making role, then that's like a victory for them. So these people will be always there, and they will try to take this power from any mean that they find. Another thing also is the resource control. People, individuals or groups, they want to control the resources. What are these resources? Money, the budget of the project, and also the time. They want to control these so that the project become under their control. Again, it's related to the decision making also, but it is having the control on the budget, on spending on the project. Again, this is there. And there are some other people who want to be the leaders in the project. They always want to lead. They always want to be the distinguished individuals in the project, and everyone has to refer back to them, and they have to praise them. So these are or these three demands, or say desires, that you get in the project will create some kind of conflict. People will not like this to happen. I don't want this person to be to become or to think he's my boss, or he give me instructions, or then you get these conflicts. And this is what we mentioned in chapter 1, that you need to resolve these problems or conflicts as a project manager. The last frame is the symbolic frame. The symbolic frame is basically talking about the symbols. What we don't look at the task or the event that happened, but we look at the meaning of what happens. So, for example, I kept you some things here, like see this pigeon here with this branch. It's a pigeon holding a branch. But what is the meaning of this? It means peace, right? Yeah. So if you look at a rose, for example, it's a rose, red rose, but it is a symbol of love or care or like or something. Darkness, for example, it is black is always associated with darkness. So we can refer to darkness by using the dark colors or black or something like this. So symbols are something like this. Also, in the symbolic frame are the cultural issues and language issues. So you can see here, I kept these four persons here. Now you can see that they show that the first two on the left, they show the culture of an Arabic country, right? Arabic culture. On the right, you will have these two, this lady and this gentleman. They are wearing the suits. They are wearing their traditional work dress code in their country. Okay, that's their culture. So this is the culture also depends on the project will be affected by the culture that you are running in, and these are also symbols. Now I'll give you an example in a project. For example, if the CEO attends the meeting or the kickoff meeting or one of the meetings of the project, okay, the action or the task is, or the event that happened is that the CEO attended a meeting. That's it. But what is the symbol of this? This gives you an indication that the project, the CEO is supporting this project, cares about this project, right? So these are the signals that you are going to get from the this event, okay? And these are the symbols, okay? When your project manager asks you always to use the email for communication, always use electronic documents. He's asking you to do this. So these tasks means that he's an IT oriented and he wants everything to be paperless. So these are the signals that you feel from the actions of the project manager. Okay, I hope these are clear. If you have any questions, you can raise it now. Can you now distinguish between these four frames? I think you are. Okay, now let's go to the organizational structures. Organizations, they vary from how they manage their projects. The most three common basic structures are the functional structure, project structure, and the metrics. Now, if you want to look at, we have the structure, the organization structure, the functional, project, and metrics. Now, the functional is the traditional way of projects. Okay, this is what we always know, that organizations are divided by functions, and each function is specialized in something. So the reporting mechanism here is that the functional manager will report to the CEO. Okay, in the project structure, it's different. You have a program manager where he has lots of projects under him, and these project managers report to the project program, and he report to the CEO, or directly the project manager, the program manager will report to the CEO. The matrix is the middle ground between both functional and project, and these are this matrix varies. You have a very weak matrix where it is toward the functional, and you have a very strong matrix which is toward the project. And there's something called the balanced matrix in between. This is how you can see the structure of these three the three types of structuring. So here, this one is the functional. You can see that this is the CEO here, okay, and we have the engineering department, manufacturing department, VP of IT, HR. So these are the functions, right? And under each, they have their own staffs. Now, do you see a project manager? Can you reply to me? Do you see a project manager here in this structure? Hello? Do you see a project manager?
No.
No, we don't see him.
Doctor.
Yeah, because he will be maybe part of this staff of the engineering. He's working as maybe a coordinator. They don't even call him a project manager. Okay, they will call him a coordinator, a specialist, something like this. Okay, look at this structure, the project structure. You see that you have a CEO, you have program manager A, B, C, and each has their own staff. So now it is obvious that we have project managers or program manager, it's the same, but the program manager have more projects. Usually in this structure, organizations, they try to put all the projects that are related to one area or one field, they put them under one program. As I explained earlier in chapter 1, the difference between the program, portfolio, and the project. So here it is obvious that the project managers are there in the, or the program manager are there on the structure. Look at the matrix here. In the matrix, you have the CEO, you have a program manager here, this one, okay? And we still have the functions, right? Now, you can see here that when we start a project, and here the project manager shows, the project manager of project A needs to have 2 engineers. So he will take these 2 engineers from the engineering department. He also needs 1 person from the manufacturing, so he will take 1 staff from the manufacturing. From the IT, he needs 3.5 IT people. Now, and from HR, half person from HR. Now, is this possible? Can we take 3.5 people from IT?
No.
No, it's not possible because we cannot cut a person to half, right? But what does this mean? This means that this person will work 50% of his time. So we are not talking about the person, we're talking about the effort of that person. So here we'll have 3 people, and for this example here, we have 3 people working full-time on project A from IT, and 1 person will work 50% only. 50% of his time will be dedicated for the project, and the other 50% will be dedicated for his department. Okay, and so on. So you can see here that this matrix is a combination between these 2, the functional and the project. Okay, now these are the basic ones, but still we have other types that we're going to show later. Now this slide here shows some of the these are the 3 characteristics, the 3 structures: functional, matrix, and project. And you can see here that the matrix, we have here a weak, balanced, and strong, right? And here you will find these characteristics of each of these structures, okay? And you can see here it varies. You can go through it later. I don't want to waste the time on these details because you can just read them and it's very self-explanatory. You can understand them very easy. It's just showing the varying ranges between these structures. Okay. Now this structure or this table, you will find it in all the editions until the I think the 7th or maybe the 8th edition. In the 9th edition, they removed that table and they included this table. This table they have here, if you can see, they put the project characteristics in the column side, and the structures they put it on the arrow side. So sorry, the row side. So here these are the structure types. They swap them, and these are the characteristics. Okay, and they added one more here, one column to explain what is the structure. You can see here that they introduce more structures. Okay, so they have the virtual, hybrid, PMO. And what are these? Let me I'm just trying to zoom here because I couldn't find this on the internet, a soft copy, so I just captured it by my phone and I include it here. This is a zoom for the same table, just to show you. Here, this is, I just concentrate now on this one, the functional. So this is the functional, okay? It explains how the work works here, or the arrangement, job being done, engineering, manufacturing. So the focus here is that we need to finish our work. Yani if it is the HR department, then they need to do all the payroll, the recruitment, training. That's their job. They just focus on their job. In accounting, they will do only their work related to the accounting. In the manufacturing, they will do what's related to their department. And as we mentioned in chapter 1, these departments work as operations. So they do repetitive work and it is ongoing. It's not temporary work like the project. The authority, little or none for the project manager. There is no authority for the project manager. As we said, there is no even a post for him. There is no title project manager. Okay, just someone in the department. They will tell him go and do this. That's it. So he have no authority. The project manager role, he will be a part-time. If he's going to do the project management practice, then that's a part-time job. He's not going to be dedicated to that. Okay. Then resource availability, طبعا, he won't be having any resources. If he need anything, he need to go back to the function manager. Okay. Who manage the budget? Again, it's the functional manager. He has no control on the budget, and his if he has any staff who works under him, they will be part-timers. They are not dedicated fully for that project. Okay, so you read the same thing for all the other types of structure. Okay. Now, I tried to show you the difference between these. I will go down here since we have our pen is running now. Okay, so if you want to understand them better, look at them in this way. Look at structures, or imagine that these are a continuum. Okay, continuum that has like two extremes. Okay, here we have the functional structure, and on the other extreme we have the project structure, right? In between we have the matrix. Okay, and this matrix, we have 3 of them. We have the weak, we have the balanced, and we have a strong matrix. Okay. Now, what we have also introduced in the 9th edition of the new book, they introduced the organic simple structure, which is something that is somewhere here. Change the color. So here we have something called the organic or the simple project. Okay. Now, these are this is the organic structure. This is where you have peers are working together. So there is no structure. Okay, there is no manager. They are all 3 or 4 people who work together, and they have the same authority, same responsibility. Okay, there is no hierarchy between them. Okay, group of people working together. And that's the simplest way of working, or working in a team. Then comes the functional, as I mentioned earlier, and this is centralized. Okay. Now, it is centralized, so all the power goes to the functional manager. Okay. Then, in between here, we have something called the multi-task divisional structure. Okay, and this is similar to the function, but with less centralization. Okay, it's the same as the functional, but less centralization. So what happens here is that you give more, or you delegate more authority to the lower levels. Okay. Then, if we go to the project structure here, we have new structure, which is the virtual structure. Okay. These are virtual projects. And from the name, you know, virtual means that people are working together on a project, but from different, what we call the different locations. We call this dispersed projects. Okay, so they are not physically in the same place. We also have the other two structures, which is the hybrid and the PMO. The hybrid is actually a combination of these. So you can have you can have mixed functional and maybe weak, or some, you can say like a strong but organic, or something like this. You combine the features of these structures. So this is hybrid. The PMO is similar to the project, but you are dealing with programs. Yani this project is only individual projects. But here you have different projects. Okay, so we are working on a program. Okay, so these are the structures. Going to the next slide here, the organizational culture. The culture is a very important aspect that we need to look at in the organization sphere of projects, because it is the cause of all the frustration that you might face in projects. You need to understand the structure, the culture of the project, or of the organization, or of the country that you're operating in order to overcome any problems or any obstacles that you might face. Another thing that we need to talk about in this chapter is the commitment of the top management. The commitment of top management is very important to our project, and the reason is that because if you receive this kind of commitment from a CEO or top management, you will be able to receive all your resources that you are requiring. Okay, so you will get adequate resources because that will be directed by them to provide you with these resources and not to delay you. So you will get them also on a timely manner. You will receive them when you need them. You will also get better cooperation from other departments, because if your top management show that this is a symbolic frame. Remember the signals. Okay, if my CEO shows the organization that this is an important project, and I am looking carefully on the progress of this project, and I don't want it to be delayed, then everyone in the organization will be cooperative and will provide you with all the necessary resources that you need, or the support that you require. Also, the top management, these are your leaders, so they will work as your mentors and coaches in the project. So you will be able to have someone who guides you in your project. Okay. We talked about this earlier, the need for standards. Now, why do we have standards and guidelines? Because we want our project to be successful. What does this mean? When you have a standard, okay, you will be able to ensure that everyone is following that standard. So if you have different people, say programmers, and they come from different schools, then everyone has his own way to write the code, okay, or style, you can say, have his own style to write the code. And this is something that will be difficult for people to agree on which one is the correct way or style. So if you have a standard, then everyone has to comply to that standard. Okay, even if you see that your way or your style is the right way, or you have to follow the standard because that's what the organization wants. So in organizations, senior management will encourage using these standards in terms of using some particular software, develop some kind of guideline or plan or method, or maybe sometimes templates that you have to follow in order to comply with the standard. Also creating the PMO. The PMO is the project management office, is usually created to run all the projects of the organization and to ensure that everyone is following the standard. Okay, they will provide the templates, the software that you have to use. So they will dictate some things that you have to comply to. And here when we reach the standard. Now, one of the important also topics in today's slide is the project phases. Now, what is the project phase and what is the project life cycle? A project life cycle is basically a set of phases or collection of phases. Now, in these phases, it will tell you what work will be performed in each phase. So in phase 1, we're going to do planning. In phase 2, we're going to, for example, do the designing. In phase 3, we're going to do implementation. The next will be testing. After that, rolling out. The next phase is supporting or something. So you have phases that show you what you're going to do in each of these phases. And for each phase, there will be some kind of a deliverable. When you do this task, you will have some outputs, some deliverables, and so on. Also, we have who's involved in each phase. You don't need all your team to work in all the project, during the whole project. Some will work on this phase, others will work on the second or third phase, and like this. Also, it is good to phases will help you to manage and control the work. Okay, you can close works, you can end a phase, you can start another phase. If you see that there are some delays, you can start other phases, and like this. And when I mention deliverable means a product or a service that you produce, whether a part, a product, or a complete product at the end of the project. And here, these are just examples of what happens in phases. Usually, the early phases of a project in the life cycle is little uncertain. It's things are not clear in the beginning. Resources are not used yet because you are still in the planning and designing, and the stakeholders will be very influential in this phase. Okay, because you need their approval on everything that you are doing. In the middle phase of the project, in the middle you start here using more resources. You start becoming more certain about things because now you completed planning, you have more information, so now you can work properly or better in a clearer, say, spectrum of the project. And in the final phase, usually, you want to ensure that you are achieving the goals. You are meeting the requirements for the project, for the software or for the customers and something like this. And you also need to get the approval of your sponsors on the project. So if you don't finish the project, if you don't get sign off, the approval of the sign off of the stakeholders on the completion of the project, this means that the project is not done yet. You need to continue working.